Morning.
Oh, ano? Ulan na kita mga kasama.
Rain or shine.
Let's get it.
Alis ko ka. Emelo. Ako nagbigay ng number.
Buti na bigay niya.
Sir.
Buti bigay niya yung number ko. Bago na pala yung number ko.
Ganun ba? Ako yung number mo. Iba na rin?
Hindi, yun pa rin.
Yung doon, ha?
Dito ka.
Kaya lang, paalis si Sir ng tulong.
Yeah.
Dito ka.
Okay, sige.
Sige, Sir.
Dito tayo.
Where's Charlie?
Hindi, mas mabuti. Gumit na ka na. Dito na sila. Dito ka.
Yeah.
Yan. Dito ka na.
Dito na ako. Yeah, okay.
Yan. Wala si Ace Barber, si Milano.
Yes, hi. Good morning, friends and guests. Welcome to Friday Balitaan sa Hotel Rembrandt. Today, very timely itong ating meeting with my good friend here, Secretary Yasay, and Colonel Rod Bonifacio, dahil dalawang issue ang importante ngayon, no? Itong problema natin sa South China Sea and drugs. At we have experts here, especially our good secretary, na kahapon ay bisita nila si Ambassador Zhao, no? Right? And I think he can explain everything to us today. Okay, good morning, Secretary. Can you give us more information about what really happened sa meeting niyo kahapon with Ambassador Zhao and other issues about this blood list? Kasi malapit na yung information coming from Hague, right? So we have to know more about it. Sige, open na ho yan.
Well, hello.
Okay na.
Okay. Nag-courtesy call si Ambassador, China's Ambassador kay Presidente. This was the first official call that was made by a foreign representative here. Noon, as I understand it, the Chinese Ambassador was able to meet the President-elect Davao. So kahapon was the first time. So it was just simply a formal felicitations, conveying the what do you call this? The felicitations also of the head of state of China to the president on an official basis. We summarily spoke about our strengthening of our friendship, and we had expressed the hope and the commitment from both sides that notwithstanding the arbitral tribunal or the pending case that we had filed before it and the pending decision that will be coming out on July 12, our friendship will remain the same, and we will continue to even be strengthened. So we gave the commitment that there will be no provocative statements. There will be no, that will only serve to heighten the tension. And the important thing is for us first to wait for that decision. I am very happy to announce that the Chinese ambassador had made that commitment, that certainly they will not do or take any action that will undermine our friendship and that will undermine the interests of the Philippines as regards the disputed area. So that in sum was what we had discussed, and what we said to them officially, what the President conveyed to them, to the ambassador officially, was that when we receive the decision of the arbitral tribunal, we will look at it, study it, and before we make any definitive statement or see what particular course of action we will take. But in the meantime, we cannot speculate on what we will do because it will all be dependent upon the decision of the arbitral tribunal.
Thank you, Secretary. Okay, we'll have to call on our friend here, Colonel Rod Bonifacio, the head of the People's Volunteer Against Illegal Drugs. Dahil as of this week, the President already exposed so many names, including Scalawag in uniform and top drug lords. Well, I think he knows more about all these things. Rod, please.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning, sir.
the People's Volunteer Against Illegal Drugs, even before the Duterte phenomenon, have established to propagate and cascade the purpose of weeding out or emancipating all the barangays throughout the country. As we have previously have this latest assessment of 92% drug infestation for the NCR and 40% for the countryside. And as we have experienced just lately, Laguna, we have established the Laguna chapter. We were able to identify some of these local personalities, particularly in Laguna, San Pablo City, that have been engaged in the so-called drug trafficking, and some could be considered as a drug lord protector. Of course, we've been coordinating with some line agencies, particularly the Philippine Center on Transnational Crime, through Colonel Jose Gamos, making some reports that will be utilized by our security clusters under the present administration.
Okay, let's go back to Secretary Yasay. No? Any questions from the floor? Baka meron kayo? Iya? To ask Bill?
Good morning, Secretary Yasay. I'm one of your province mate because I came from Pikit, Cotabato. Miliandes family. Now we are proud that somebody from Cotabato has been appointed as a secretary of the Duterte cabinet. Secretary, my question is about the prospect of a better relation with China. If you will gauge the initial talk that they had yesterday, can you describe the potential potential better relationship that we are going to have with China as against our relationship with the United States?
Our Constitution mandates that we should maintain amity with all nations, and that is a paramount objective that we would like to pursue in carrying out our foreign relations and our foreign policy. So when we try to strengthen our friendship with China, it does not mean that we will be lessening our friendship with the United States and vice versa. The situation here is such that we have conflicting claims insofar as the West Philippine Sea is concerned. But we both recognize that notwithstanding these conflicting claims, that we hope will be resolved by the arbitral tribunal, and we had urged everyone concerned to make sure that we will respect the rule of law, we will respect the international law, we will make sure that the decision of the arbitral tribunal is one way at which we would be able to resolve our conflicts and disputes in a peaceful manner. We can nevertheless continue with negotiating or talks or negotiations with respect to other areas like in the field of trade, in the field of infrastructure development, whatever assistance will be made. But this is not going to undermine or impact our respective positions insofar as the disputed territory is concerned. And I think we have made this kind of commitment. We have also made this kind of commitment with other nations, with Japan, even with the United States, that our friendship must be nurtured and must be further strengthened in the interest of world peace and world stability.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to Colonel Bonifacio. Kasi yesterday, the President was quoted in telling so many things about NBP. Pero, what I know is the real mastermind in all these things are not really from the inside of the NBP, but from the outside. I'd like to acknowledge the arrival of ASEC Charles Jose. Good morning, ASEC. Time no see. Okay. So, tama kaya yung mga ibang although I believe na lahat ng mga sinasabi ng ating presidente he has all the evidences because coming from a close friend of mine who's close to him, he said that the information that he got came not only from local sources but also foreign intelligence. Plus, he has been a mayor and during his watch as a mayor, has been getting a lot of information coming from Manila about all these things. Kaya nung nobody believes that some of them are not really involved, excuse my word, no? Parang just like any CG, no? Wala ka amin na CG siya eh. Yeah? Parang ganun ang situation ngayon sa mga Iskalawag si Uniform. And I believe na with all these things, maraming sindikato talaga ang mababawasan o talagang may eradicate. And I hope itong mga asset ng mga sindikato na nag-iingay ngayon will stop all these things, including the church, dating churchman, no? Yung si Father Robert Reyes, he's not a father anymore. Wala nga ang diocese yan eh, wala nga simbahan yan. So huwag na siya mag-iingay dahil bata pa yun, alam na namin, Bertong Colix ang tawag sa kanya sa Malabon eh. Oh? Saka, ask some people in Imus, ha? Alam kung bakit siya tatanggal sa pagkapare doon sa UP. So huwag na siya magyabang-yabang sa atin dito. He's a friend of mine, pero pagka ganyan na he's protecting some people, ay baka mahubaran siya ng maskara. If he wants to talk more, I will talk more. That's a challenge to him. Okay? Okay, Colonel.
Concerning yung mga recent pronouncement ng ating Pangulo, itong mga bagay na to, hindi naman ito basta-basta bibitawan ng ating Pangulo kung wala siyang
Ebidensya.
hinahawakang mabigat na ebidensya. Of course, under the law, sa criminal law natin, yung burden o yung burden of proof, okay, should always lies on the prosecution. Hindi yan hahayaan ng ating kalihim ng katarungan kung wala talaga tayong hinahawakang mabigat na ebidensya. In other words, inilatag niya yan, nasa burden ng ating Pangulo o ng ating pamahalaan ang paglalatag ng tamang ebidensya laban dito sa mga nabanggit na ito. At yung mga lumalabas ngayon, meron pang mga kasunod yan. At siguro naman na unti-unti at mararamdaman natin yung pangako ng ating Pangulo na talagang ibibigay niya ang tunay na pagbabago sa ating bayan. So, umasa tayo at kailangan maging vigilante tayo dito dahil ito mga nababanggit, hindi ito mga pangkaraniwang tao. Tingnan natin yung mga kanilang kakayanan. Dapat humingi tayo ng malakas na dasal sa ating Panginoon, protektahan ang ating Pangulo dahil hindi biro itong laban niya ngayon. Pinaglalaban niya ang katarungan at ang kapakanan ng ating bayan.
Okay, Lakay. Si Lakay ho ay presidente ng
Liga.
Liga ng mga Broadcasters ng Pilipinas.
Secretary Sir, congratulations muna. Sir, sinasabi ng mga observers na ang sinseridad ng China sa pag-ipag-usap sa atin ay laging suspect. Number one, hindi kasi nagpadala kahit Chinese na itis doon sa dalawang hearings sa Netherlands. Tama? Hindi sila nagpadala doon. At lagi sinasabi ng kanilang spokesman dito na kahit ano man ang resulta sa A12 ng International Arbitral Court ay hindi nila susundin. 2 or 3 cases na yata na sinasabi nila yun. So that, ang sinasabi nila suspect lagi kasi oo nga umiiwas din sila na maglabas ng provocative statements which is supposed to be sa dalawang partido. Pero iba naman yung kanilang ginagawa sa kanila sinasabi. Di ba? Habang nag-ipag-usap sila sa atin, hindi naman sila tumitigil sa paggawa sa Spratlys. Tuloy ang kanilang construction. Tuloy ang kanilang pambobomba sa mga pang-iisda natin. So, paano mo i-assess kung talaga sinisero yung mga kausap natin, Secretary?
Alam mo, itong issue na ito ay talagang it's a very complicated, complex issue. It's a very contentious issue. even sa atin, meron tayong territorial claims based on historical rights. Ganun din ang ginagawa ng China. Pero yung ating ginawa rito ay we just pursued and sought made our submission sa international tribunal o sa Article Tribunal on the basis of what we claim under UNCLOS as our exclusive economic zone within that area. Hindi natin sinumite yung ating historical claim of ownership of some of these features, neither are we asserting sovereignty over these features. That is not the issue in the Arbitral Tribunal. So kailangan maintindihan ng ating taong bayan na yung issue o yung desisyon na hinihintay natin sa Arbitral Tribunal is an issue of whether or not itong area that is 200 miles from our shoreline, territorial shoreline, is part of our exclusive economic zone. Now, kahit na sasabihin ng Arbitral Tribunal na itong area na ito is our exclusive economic zone, it does not negate the position under international law that this is still international waters. Alam mo naman, under international law, di ba, yung territorial limits natin is 12 miles. Beyond that is international waters. Pero yung exclusive economic zone extends to 200 miles. Now, so, kung sasabihin nga nila na atin yan, then that's under the UNCLOS. And it does not mean na we own it. We exercise sovereignty rights insofar as maritime entitlements. Pwede nating i-exploit yan, pwede nating gagamitin yan for our exclusive economic benefit. Yung ginagawa naman ng China is that yung kanilang 9-dash line ay sinasabi nila yung area na yan ay sa kanila. They have always maintained that. No? Eh sa atin is, well, kung sasabihin nila that they will not respect the decision of the Arbitral Tribunal, and they have in fact not only said that they will not respect the decision of the Arbitral Tribunal, they said that the Arbitral Tribunal does not have any jurisdiction to hear that case because they say in essence territorial claims and exercise of sovereignty over the territory is not within the jurisdiction of UNCLOS. Now, that's a legal argument. That is the legal argument they are presenting. Pero sa akin naman, because we are all signatories to UNCLOS and we respect international law, we respect and adhere to the rule of law, let us see how we can implement that decision of the UNCLOS without touching upon our territorial claims or sovereignty claims over the territory because that is not an issue in UNCLOS. So yun lang ang dapat nating intindihan. Ang ating taong bayan ay we should inform them correctly na this is not an eviction case. Hindi natin ini-evict ang China rito. Nasasabihin natin pag nanalo tayo ay aalis na sila. No, this is not a case like that at all. No, we should not raise the hopes of our people in that respect because it is not true. What we are waiting only is simply that for the Arbitral Tribunal to rule that that disputed area is part of our economic zone, and because it is part of our economic zone, exclusive economic zone under UNCLOS, that their 9-dash line is contrary or not in accordance with the UNCLOS that grants us these rights. So let's wait for the decision of the Arbitral Tribunal. If the Arbitral Tribunal will sustain us, then well and good, and that is what we're hoping for. But if the Arbitral Tribunal will decide some kind of a win some or lose some basis, let's study it thoroughly and before we make any definitive or actions or statements that can only serve to heighten the tensions.
Okay, Charlie.
Yes, sir, my question is, it can be recalled that President Widodo visited the area personally, right? Are you or the President open to doing the same thing in the future, maybe?
The actions taken by the President of Indonesia is a matter that pertains to their own national interest and to the nature of the claim of Natuna Island. So the situation then can be entirely different. we are not taking any provocative action. As I understand it, the Indonesian president really went into that island because they have a territorial claim over that island, and their claim is also exercising sovereignty. That is not an issue that has been raised by them before UNCLOS. Tayo lang ang nag-file ng kaso sa UNCLOS. So I do not think that there is any parallelism or similarity in terms of demanding or evoking a similar action that Indonesia has done.
Sir, a follow-up. So
Yeah,
you think
Charlie.
if ever, hypothetically speaking, the president or you would do that, it might heighten the tensions between us and China. You think so? You don't think it's a good idea that we do that?
To do that, send our military ships?
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
Why will we send our military ships there?
There's no worry.
Why will we even consider sending our military ships there? We do not claim this area as our own, and we will defend it and protect it. You know, this we are just claiming that this is part of our exclusive economic zone, and we would like China to recognize that if it is part of our economic zone under international law, and because of its own adherence to the rule of law, they will recognize the rights of our people in exploiting and using that area. And if there is any dispute, we are committed to sit down with them in the context of the decision of the arbitral tribunal to resolve that issue peacefully.
Correct. Question from the floor, please. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Mark Salazar from GMA7. Just a follow-up. You said that in this arbitral case, it is not our, it's not that we're fighting for sovereignty over these areas, but just making China understand that this is within our EEC. Okay, so in your pursuit of friendship with China, are you considering joint exploration with them, just so that China doesn't water bomb our fishermen there in this area within our EEC? Are you exploring the possibilities of joint exploration, cooperation with China in these areas?
If the Chinese, in respecting the decision of the arbitral tribunal, would like to negotiate within the context of that arbitral tribunal, along with the other claimants, if at all, that will be covered under the decision of the arbitral tribunal, to see how we can jointly use and explore the area, by all means, let us pursue that. I mean, there is no objection to that, and I think that will be consistent with the policy inscribed under our Constitution. What would probably be a difficult situation, and I hope it will not get into that, will be if we are being tasked in the face of the decision of the arbitral tribunal to negotiate outside of the decision of the arbitral tribunal. Why will we do that if what we filed before the arbitral tribunal is just simply the issue on our exclusive economic rights? We will be willing to negotiate with everyone within the context of that decision, whatever that decision of the arbitral tribunal will be.
Okay, Winnie.
Yes, good health, lalo na po sa ating mga visitors. My concern is about health, especially itong ating problema mga sumusurrender, but of course for everybody. I am from DCMA, Radio Uno, and a scientist, naturopathic doctor. I'm a formulator. Yung aking pong pagkain gamot, in short, napakaganda po. In principle kasi, yung mga physiologically, biologically problems na yan, andyan na yan eh. So kailangan po niya ng matindi na detoxification. Ito pong aking pagkain gamot, kayang ilabas kalinana.
Question lang ho, Winnie, kasi hindi natin kailangan muna yung produkto mo, no? Okay, ang itatanong natin ito. Okay, please.
General pagkain gamot, but this is more personalized. Kasi fresh eh. Hindi ho ito yung mga chemicals.
Siguro, Winnie, pagka nakaupo na si Colonel Bonifacio doon sa kanyang bibigyan ng posto, doon mo lang yan.
This is just an information.
Kasi ay importante itong mga questions natin ngayon. Okay, thank you. Colonel Bonifacio, no? I have an information to you, no? Coming from my foreign friend, no? Sabi niya, na wala tuloy. Wala. Ito. Okay. Sabi niya, si Peter Ko is just the second man next to Enteng. Ha? At sabi niya, yung ulo inside NBP ay second lang sa ulong nasa labas. Meaning, meron mas malaking ulo, mastermind, nasa top level, kasi itong nasa NBP raw, ito yung mga third level lang pala to. Meaning, operative lang ito mga itong nahuli. Actually, yung mga ilang nasa labas ay second level lang. Meron mga malaki at mayaman na tao na well-respected, just like yung napapanood natin mga mafia. Italian mafia, yung mga godfather, na you will be shocked na yung mga level na to ay hinihilo tayo sa mga information, pero yung pala ay parang painting in the west, fighting in the east. So we'll have to be aware about this. I know that Colonel Bonifacio knows about this, no? Can you expound this?
Well, actually, during my stint as narcotics operatives before, may mga ganyang situation na pinapalitan nila yung mga personalities. Just like what we have now in NPP. Alam naman natin, lahat ng mga drug convicts personalities na nagsama-sama to sa isang brigada. Okay? May mga lihim diyan na siguro later mabubulgar na rin to. May mga patay na diyan mga convicts na pinapalitan lang nila.
Naka-switching, no?
Naka-switching. Ang tawag doon yung palit paa. Merong ganong setup. Kung yan ang nangyayari dito sa labas, sa loob, ganun na rin kalala. Kaya yung problema natin sa correctional pillar, hindi biro. Maraming lilinisin at maraming isa sa ayos. This took place 16 years ago pa, na kung saan ni-recognize yung mga gang organization sa loob. Yang mga yan, nagsimula yan dito sa BJMP pa. So dito sa Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, pagpasok pa lang ng detainee to hindi convict. Meron na silang grupo doon ng mga tinatawag na gangs. Okay? Doon pa lang, ika-classify ka na kung miyembro ka ng, sabihin natin, Komando, Sputnik, BCJ, yung bahala na Batang CTJ, at marami pang iba. Doon pa lang, nakaprogram ka na dahil pag bumaba yung conviction ng husgado, ibibiyahe yan, pag hawak ng commitment order galing mismo sa husgado, papunta ng Bureau of Corrections. Doon meron tayong tinatawag na proseso na kung saan mag-undergo ng orientation yung mga convicts, yung national prisoner natin. 60 days doon sa RDC. Ano po yung RDC? Ito po yung Reception Diagnostic Center.
Ganda pangalan na.
Ika-classify po doon yung mga convicts. Kasama po dito yung mga drug convicts. Yung mga drug convicts natin, ang nangyayari, na-convict na dito sa sa trial court. Biyahe na siya doon, hindi na ho dadaan doon sa RTC. Kasi bumabiyahe pa lang ho siya, yung mismong kubol doon, binibiding na nila. Kumikita sila dito. Maraming hanap buhay sa loob. Kaya yung sistema nasira. Dahil, just imagine, i-recognize mo yung mga gang. Of course, yung gang, yan ang pinagsisimula ng nangagulo Nandiyan yung mga matitinding kriminal. Kaya nga sana sa mga darating na panahon, kung sino man yung mailalagay at mailuluklok na na Director General ng Bureau of Corrections, dapat i-consider, i-classify kung sino yung dapat ilagay sa ganitong brigada. Tanggalin yung sistema ng gang na yan. Binibigyan lang natin sila ng ng dahilan. At just imagine, makikita nyo nga sa Facebook natin, yung itong si JB Sebastian, can afford na humarap sa media. He has the guts na sasabihin niya, you know that guy? A picture depicting the image of Noynoy Aquino. Even the then Secretary of Justice, Leila de Lima. Winawalang yata dito, sinasalbahe at pinapahiya yung gobyerno natin. It's about time na dapat baguhin ang sistema dyan. Hindi sila pwedeng magdikta sa atin. Remember, pagka ikaw binabaan ng hatol, you will be considered as civilly interdicted. Tanggal ang karapatan mo. Hindi ka pwedeng mamili kung ano gusto mong mangyari dyan. Yan ang mga dapat inisip. At alam yan ng Pangulo natin. Nagbitaw na siya ng salita dyan. Kaya bumibilang na lang sila ng araw.
Charlie ulit.
Yes. Sir, how long do you think it will take the president to expose these top drug lords, the ones that you're saying? And does he more or less have an idea kung sino po sila at the moment?
Well, sa ngayon wala akong idea. But as far as I know, hawak ng Pangulo yung ebidensya, tinitiyak niya lang, and in due time, ilalabas niya yan. Hindi siya magbibigay ng isang bagay na wala siyang hawak na malakas na ebidensya. Maghintay lang po tayo. In due time, makikita po natin kung sino-sino po itong mga karagdagang personalidad na ito.
In a month's time, Charlie. For sure. Check yun. Okay. Well, anyway, ito pa, no, Colonel, no? Sabi sa akin ng informante ko sa loob ng Bucor, no? Maraming nalabas na NBP drug lords na mga pangalan. Mali yung iba. Ang tunay ay yung Vicente C. alias Enteng ng Maine and Peter Co. Si Peter C. ay nakalabas na noong 2007 pa. Through palit pa yung sinabi mo kanina. Operation. Sa record ng Bucor ay nasa iwahan kunyari siya pero actually matagal na nakakawala. So pagka naka-tiyempo na ikaw ang isa sa mga mailagay doon, ay ito hanapin mo. Bill.
Mawalang galang na po uli, Kalihim, Yasay. In addition dun sa ating quest for a good bilateral relation with China, siguro kasama yung economic aspect na gusto nating makuha. No? Pwede po bang malaman kung ano talagang status natin dito sa bangko na EIIB? Kung tayo ba ay membro na dyan? Ha? Oo. Asian International Investment Bank. Oh.
Siguro ibigay ko yan sa aking
si
ASEC,
John.
ano, ha?
Mhm.
Dahil siyang nakakaalam yan eh. I'd like to know the status of that para mapahayag natin.
Thank you, sir. Member na po ang Philippines itong AIIB. In fact, we signed yung articles of membership nung last day, December 31, 2015. Pero meron pa pong ibang proseso na dadaanan, yung contribution ng Philippines, we still have to pay that, Pero as of the moment, nakapirma na po tayo din sa kasulatan.
Okay, Jimmy.
Sir, magandang araw po. Jimmy Mendoza from DCI Sansi Region, post po sa Pastor Pidoroy. Maski sino po yung sumagot sa inyo. Sir, total lang, may ilan po pinag-usapan ko dito sa ating bansa, maski sa ibang bansa. Ilan po yung mga Pilipino natin nakalayla sa pagbitay? At ano ang
US dollars.
ginawang akbar ng dating administration Aquino? At ano din ang gagawin ng kasalukuyang
Kaya silang may
administrasyon Duterte para matulungan sila?
Ibigay ko muna sa iyo yung statistical data sa question mo.
Tama.
Sige, sir.
At if my memory serves me right, meron po kaming tinututukan ng mga between 80 and 90 na death penalty cases. This is all over the world. Pero nasa ibang stages pa yan, Hindi pa lahat final conviction yan. Yung iba nasa trial, yung iba nasa appeals process. Pero ito pong number na to, between 80 and 90, ito po yung mga drug-related and other offenses that could lead to the death penalty. So ang ginagawa po natin dyan, right from the start, once na naabisuhan ng ating embassy na may Pilipinong hinuli for nitong offenses, ay agad po tayo nagpapadala ng kinatawan ng ating embassy para puntahan. Dalawa po ang responsibility ng embassy dyan. Una-una, to make sure na bibigyan ng due process, and secondly, to make sure na hindi mababiolate ang kanilang karapatan. At kung pagdating sa trial na, kung walang court-appointed lawyer, ngayon po nagbibigay na po tayo ng talagang private counsel, Meron po tayong legal assistance fund kung saan pwede pong kumuha ng pondo pambayad sa mga private counsel. Hanggang sa mag-progress po yung kaso, kung ma-convict siya sa trial process, i-appeal po natin yan hanggang sa umabot sa Supreme Court. So yun po ang mga trabaho ng ating embassy. We respect kung ano yung judicial process sa bansang kinaroroonan, but we make sure na bibigyan siya ng due process at hindi po mababaylin kanyang mga karapatan.
Sir, dito na lang po. Operative po ako umareho si Mary Abiloso ng Nueva Vizcaya. Ano na po ang resulta sa kaso niya?
Si
Yung narinig po.
Mary Jane Veloso sa Indonesia ngayon ay naka-suspend yung kanyang
Sentence.
death sentence, no? Alam mo yung kaso ni Mary Jane Veloso, naging final na yung decision eh. Umabot na sa Korte Suprema nila, in-affirm na pagkatapos yung i-execute na, saka na lang nagkakaroon ng aggressive action to appeal for clemency, appeal for leniency in the sense na siya ay biktima more than an offender and so on. So, pinag-aaralan yan. Ang pagkakaintindi ko ngayon ay our Philippine representatives dyan ay together with our consular diplomatic officials involved in Indonesia have succeeded together with some what they call this NGOs. They have succeeded in granting and taking her out of that execution lists. So, kung may mga scheduled execution man ay hindi siya kasama doon because ang pagkakaintindi ko, ang agreement ay hihintayin muna yung magiging resulta ng kaso na final natin dito sa Pilipinas doon sa kanyang tinatawag na mga principal, yung kanyang mga talagang handlers na sila ang tinutukoy na are the real offenders. Ginamit lamang ito si Mary Jane Veloso. Ang sinasabi natin sa Indonesian government ay magiging testigo si Mary Jane Veloso dito sa kaso na ito. Right now, the court here is preparing the written interrogatories, yung mga question as a witness na pinapadala doon kay Mary Jane para masagot niya. And it is our hope na hindi siya ma-execute or yung penalty niya will be suspended in the meantime until the outcome of the case here is fully resolved. So, yan ang ating ginagawa ngayon. Now, I wouldn't want for us to think na hindi na siya namimiligro dahil hindi tayo our involvement, our plea and our appeal to the President of Indonesia is just simply subject to their approval or not, no? In other words, hindi tayo makapag-participate or be involved in their own system of justice other than as what ASEC Charlie had said na we are providing them with legal representation and making sure that their rights are protected. Ganun pa man, let me just tell you offhand na yung policy ng Duterte administration from here on is to make sure na tutulungan natin itong ating mga tinatawag na overseas Filipino workers from the moment they start the process of the recruitment here up to the time they reach the point of destination where they will be facing various needs and problems. Dahil ito sila ay mga economic refugees na i-exploit sila abroad. They are subject to uncertainties, difficulties, and vulnerabilities that require our government to immediately be responsive to their needs and problems. So itong ginagawa natin ngayon, even as we speak, marami akong natatanggap ng mga calls from abroad about problems of our OFWs who are there. And I make sure that within the hour or two, we immediately try to get information direct from our sources abroad so that we can take appropriate measures in addressing their needs.
It's a good one.
Sir,
Okay,
last na lang, sir.
isa naman kay Jimmy, tapos si Juby, tapos si Maestro.
Secretary, parang lang po, kasi ganito tayo ang DFA natin. Karamihan mo po na pumapasok rito, mga tourist sa visa ginagamit ng Chinese, Taiwanese, pero nagagamit po yung bansa natin sa paggawa ng droga. Plus, nahuli po ng PIDEA, it's sa 3 Taiwanese, so Cebu Laboratory. Ano po ginagawa po monitor dyan ng nakaraang administration at kasalukuyan, ano din yung gagawin yung hakbang dito sa mga pumapasok sa bansa natin, Chinese, Taiwanese, pero ang layo na gumawa ng droga.
Sige, sumusabitin.
Hindi ko area yan, ano ha?
Ako na lang ang sasagot.
Palagay ko.
Security
Yeah.
Kasi
Oh.
na-issue po sila ng mga passport eh. Passport eh. May mga
Alam mo,
passport.
Jimmy,
Tagalabas ka po. Tagalabas papunta rito.
Opo,
May mga visa yan sila. Oo. So alam mo naman sa atin, even sa ating Department of Foreign Affairs, so our consular offices, may coordination yan with the appropriate police agencies, intelligence and security agencies.
May counterpart yan.
With respect to the grant of the visa, kung may nag-apply na Chinese or foreigner or anyone for that matter na gusto pumunta rito sa atin, tinitiyak natin na yung granting the visa will be based upon all of the necessary information that we would have gathered with respect to that person so that pagpasok niya, legitimate yung kanyang magiging activity dito. Kung pasok niya sa tourist, we are 100% sure, or at least we have a reasonable expectation to believe that they will be coming here to pursue a legitimate purpose or business.
Ganda ron, kaya additional.
Well, directly, no, it's a justice concern. Obviously, nasa immigration na matter yung katanungan mo, Brother Jimmy. In fact, ako naniniwala, under this administration, enhance nila yung sistema na pagsala ng mga pumapasok nating mga visitors coming from other countries, especially Chinese individuals.
Jimmy,
Yeah, good morning po. Una-una, congratulations po sa inyo, lalo na kay Secretary Yasay. Gusto ko po sanang ipaabot sa inyo na marami po tayong reklamong natatanggap sa Middle East, lalong-lalo na po, na kung po pwede po sana mapalitan nyo na lahat ng ambassador na nasa yung representing the Philippines. Halos Opo, kasi po, ang akin lang po, sang-ayon sa kanila, imbis daw na makatulong ang mga ambassador na kanilang tatakbuhan abroad, ay nagiging problema pa po sa kanila. Dahil wala hong nakikinig sa kanila, definitely. Kaya po, pinapaabot ko lang po kasi po, ako po'y dati ring OFW na mabigyan din po sana sila ng tamang daan. Unang-una, Secretary, kayo po ang alam kong responsible para mabigyan ng tamang tao. Dahil sa ngayon, yung administration ho ninyo, puro mga tamang tao ang nailalagay. Hopefully, maging successful po. Ano sa palagay nyo, kaya ho ba yun?
Alam mo, hindi ho basta-basta natanggalin mo na lamang lahat. Hihingi ako ng tulong sa iyo tungkol sa mga specific complaints nyo that will justify the sanctions of disciplinary measure against our diplomatic or consular offices abroad. No? Gagawin natin yan. Alam mo, ito yung ating sa aking pananaw. And I will not guarantee you a perfect performance, but generally, the Department of Foreign Affairs, even before I had been there, now that I am there, is one of the most professional organizations that we have of government. They are trained. Nobody can just be assigned for a diplomatic post abroad or unless he goes through or she goes through a rigorous foreign service examination and training for that purpose. So sa akin, your claim however na sinasabi mo na may mga problema tayo with
Not all naman, not all. In some.
Gagawin natin yan. If you could help us, I will assure you right now, we are reviewing the performance of our all of our even diplomatic ambassadors or career ambassadors who are abroad,
Sir,
especially in this problem area. So, ginagawa natin yan. There will be a constant monitoring, cleansing, if possible, so that the problems of our OFW, yun ang objective natin, will be properly addressed. Now, I would like at this point in time also to let the public know na sa ngayon, mayroon kaming tinatawag na action center or hotline sa Department of Foreign Affairs. Na this is open 24/7. Alright. Sa ngayon, as I am informed by ASEC Charlie Jose, is that we only have one line, and I have given instructions that we expand the telephone numbers to so that
Get the call center.
Yeah.
Better get the call
Yes.
center.
So, ang gagawin
Secretary.
natin ito for now, if you would like to call, it is 834-3333. Ito yung hotline namin. So, I would just urge you na kung tatawag kayo, it should be for an urgent problem. Kung yun naman mga problema na kaya nating lulutasin without your using the phone, like for instance, makakasulat for certain problems that we can address, we will readily accommodate that. But for now, until we have more lines, and I will promise you that this will be done within the next 2 weeks or so, we will expand our telephone lines for this purpose.
Sir,
Very nice.
hoping lang po na yung plataforma na ginagawa ng late Roy Siñeres as ambassador na ma-multiply yung ganung klase ng trabaho niya. Salamat po.
Okay, before I give them.
Salamat.
Sige.
Yeah. Okay. I
Sige,
will be entertaining only one more question dahil talagang mayroon akong
Meron lang
report
talaga
at
si
nahiling
Secretary.
balik sa
Okay.
DFA.
Before I give the floor to last question from Maestro Ado, our former attaché sa Washington DC, meron akong unsolicited advice, Secretary. No? Lahat ng mga pumunta ng ibang bansa na pinalusot itong mga kawatan sa airport at sa immigration, bago natin sila tulungan, ay pumilma sila ng ebidensya kung sino nagpalabas sa kanila. Yan ang magiging leverage natin, bargaining natin sa kanila para ma-parent out, ma-pinpoint kung sino gumawa ng passport nila and everything, para hindi lumalaki yung problema natin. Dahil nagbabagi tayo ng rido eh. Hindi na natin trabaho yan eh. So siguro high time na ma-pinpoint sino yung mga nasa labor, o yung OWA, passporting, etc. regarding this. Tama ba yun?
Tama yan, Eric. No, ha? I mean, that is a very, very valid concern with the various agencies of government that a particular applicant, an OFW, will have to be going through. Maraming red tape dyan na gusto nating tanggalin.
Kaya bawasan eh.
Gusto natin one-stop shop na lamang.
Yes,
Di ba?
yes.
At gusto din natin
That's nice.
na yung mga dokumento na
Pinaghahanap
hinihingi natin will be limited also, will be streamlined also. Wag nating kaya yung OEC na tinatawag. I really do not think that that is necessary anymore. Nagpapahirap labang yan ng ating overseas workers. No? But we are doing this. So, rest assured na itong coordinative action ng Department of Foreign Affairs will arrive at the kind of solution that you would have. Sa ngayon, mayroon na kaming tinatawag na electronic passport na ini-issue. This will also make sure na yung mga peke na passport ay talaga mawawalan niya because these are machine readable swiftly. Tapos nandun na yung mga personalized information tungkol sa holder of that passport na napakahirap ipeke. And then there are very strong security features in the materials that we are using. Now, there are some loose ends that we are still trying to thresh out, and very hopefully, ako, pinopromesa ko sa ating Pangulo, at yan din ang directive niya sa akin, we will try to resolve this as quickly as possible, hopefully within the next 2 months.
Very nice. Last question, Maestro Ado.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for establishing the distinction between sovereignty and exclusive economic rights dahil dito hindi po masyadong educated ang ating media. Ang akala nila, pinag-aawayan doon ay ownership. Hindi nila naiintindihan na ang ating sovereignty only extends to 12 miles and beyond that to 200 miles yung exclusive economic rights na pwede tayong natin exploited doon. Ukol po dito sa, from what I understand, the President will form a course of action only after the arbitral tribunal has rendered its decision. What I read is he wants to just possess the full parameters, which is the wise move of any chief executive before framing a position. Kasi po, mahirap kasi na mag-desisyon na tayo ngayon, gumawa tayo ng frame of action, tapos yung decision pala ng arbitral tribunal will serve as a loaded dice to our future bilateral negotiations. In this respect, tatlong aspeto po ang nag-interplay dito. US-Philippine relationship, China-Philippine relationship, at US-China, the security environment provided by the US and the Chinese. Would you consider po the EDCA, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agency, as a loaded dice in favor of another country when we get to the bilateral talks with China?
I will have to say very categorically that the EDCA no less has been ruled by our Supreme Court as a legal and valid document. And I will have to, and as a lawyer, we will have to respect that decision. So whether or not that is a loaded dice is beyond me to make a judgment on. But I think, more importantly, let us let EDCA work. Let us put it into a test how it will work. Kadi-declare lamang ng Korte Suprema niyan whether it is a valid document or not. Yeah. Let's put it at that. We would not like to resolve this the issue of the West Philippine Sea on matters that are at this point in time really completely relevant to the issue. Ang ating pinag-uusapan lamang dito ay yung ating exclusive economic rights. It does not automatically kick into play our mutual defense agreement, our visiting forces agreement, and this EDCA as you're putting in, walang ano yan for now, I will say without fear of contradiction that these are not relevant.
Correct.
Yeah. So let's try to resolve our problems and difficulties or our disputes one step at a time. All right. And I think when you break it down to its simplest component, it will be easier for us to process the problem and hopefully solve it. I wish I could stay longer, no? So let me take this time to thank you all. At papasalamat ako. Ado, thank you very much for your explanation. He did the explanation more clearly than I. Dapat ikaw nandito
Dapat sama mo yan. Dapat sama mo yan.
Anyway, maraming salamat sa inyo. I hope to see you again.
With that, I'd like to thank our guest, Secretary Yasay and ASEC Charlie Jose. And thanks for the time.
If you have any further questions about, palagi ko naman wala na. So I'm taking it because I need. Thank you very much.
Okay, meron pa tayo. Tuloy natin itong sa drug. Dahil napaka-importante nito Ako aliw na aliw dahil ngayon lang tayo nakakita ng ganyang katapang na presidente, sa totoo lang. Kung hindi natin tutulungan yung presidente, ay wala na. Goodbye Philippines, ha? Doc, season? Okay. Sa dami ng problema, nasabi ko nga sa inyo, yung mga iba ay kinitanggi, parang walang pagkakaiba sa excuse my word, sa CG na kahit na sabihin mo PUTA yan, hindi aaminin PUTA yan. So, eto, lumalabas na. At actually nga, ay marami nangangatog. At yung sa kakilala kong opisyal, ay lumipat na ng bahay kagad Ha? Noong lumipat na kagad ng bahay at nagbebenta na ng mga SUV niya No. So, maraming ganyan ngayon. Kaya dapat yung mga buy and sell ng mga kotse ay dapat binabantayan sinong bibenta niyan. Ha?
Binibenta na yung loot.
Si Loon? Si Loon? Okay. Roland.
Eric, sandali.
Si Winnie, sige.
Ako ang concern ko, ba't ako nandito? Pakialam ko sa buhay niyo, di ba? Ang concern ko, ano may tutulong ko dito? Ano may tutulong ko sa mga pinag-uusapan, di ba? Kayo, ano may tutulong niyo? Media is business. Chismis is our business. So we can tackle any topic, anything under the sun. So ang aking concern is about health. Lahat ng tigbakable dyan, I use the term, no? Para madali tayong magkaintindihan kasi mga Pilipino tayo eh. Pupunta lang tayo sa isang manggagamot pagka tigbakable na. Agaw buhay. Hindi bantay kalusugan. That's what I'm trying to say. Eh ito ho, mga agaw buhay na ho, ito mga addict na to eh. Sa totoo lang. Kaya ako tuwa-tuwa din ho kay Duterte sa totoo lang, no? Pero the point is, ano maitutulong mo? Ano maitutulong ko? Ay, hindi na ako pupunta rito. Wala naman pala ako.
Alam mo si Winnie, talagang dapat makasama ko sa DOH eh. Kasi yung galing mo sa mga herbal medicine, dapat mapakinabangan
Hindi yung
talaga.
herbal lang. Hindi. Pagkain ho.
Ayun.
Pagkain gamot.
So for whatever it is, kailangan ka nga ng DOH.
Kasi parang akong alkulado.
Ito,
Kailangan ka ng DOH. Lakay.
So, actually ako nagbigay ng idea sa kanya, pinag-usapan namin. Kasi ngayon ang problema ng LGUs, saan nila ilalagay yung mga addict na yan?
Yun.
Mass surrender. Libo-libo lang pinag-usapan natin dito. Sabi ko sa
Walang
kanya,
mapaglagyan.
pwede siyang mag-volunteer na maggamot ng mga addict.
Kailangan.
Ngayon ko lang
Kailangan si Winnie.
Dahil pinag-usapan namin eh.
No doubt. Kailangan ka Winnie. Kailangan
Gusto ko talagang pumunta kay Presidente ng personal, honestly. Talagang lulusot ako dyan. Pupunta ako sa kanya ng personal. Kasi may maitutulong ako sa kanya.
Saka Winnie kung maupo
Ako
si
lang ako
Colonel
sa
Bonifacio
kanya.
sa Bucor, maniwala ka, kanina pa binulong ko sa kanya, dapat makakasama ka.
Nawala
Okay.
Sama ka na sa kulungan.
Any other question?
Ay, kay Colonel.
Juby.
Kay Colonel. Ay, Colonel, may plano po ba kayong palitan yung mga gwardiya dun sa labas?
Hindi naman kaya lang iba eh.
Hindi kasi, sa totoo lang po,
Actually,
nakapasok po ako dun sa loob dahil nung time na yon. Papalitan
Actually, ang
ko.
Bureau of Corrections, yung mga prison guards natin dyan, are all covered by civil service eligibility.
So, paano
So,
po yun?
pero may mga scheme yung ating gobyerno. No? Kasi karamihan dyan nakatanim na eh.
Opo.
Nagkabugat na, pero alam naman natin yung konsepto ng reward and punishment. Of course, meron ding sistema kung paano natin ma-enhance yung capability at saka yung efficiency ng ating mga prison guards. Like for instance, yung back to basic training nila o yung reorientation program.
Opo.
Lagyan mo ng lagyan mo ng agility test. Dito ang tatamaan yung may mga sakit na. Okay? It's about time. Pero may konsepto naman kasi sa gobyerno, pag talagang hindi mo na kaya, it's about time to retire and get new plans. To get into the agency. This time naman siguro maganda ang magiging kahinatnan. Of course, tumutulong ang natin dito, ang Department of Interior and Local Government through the Philippine National Police na nagbo-volunteer at nagpadala ng mga tinatawag na PNP Special Action Force. Pero itong mga ito, temporary lang ito mga kasama kasi ang PNP Special Action Force, kung titingnan natin, mahigpit. Pero ang kailangan natin sa Bureau of Corrections, may kaalaman sa sistema ng penology, mayroong alam sa batas. So, specialized itong nandito sa kaya lang makikita natin mukhang nababoy talaga nila. Just imagine 16 years saka nakakita ng correctional institute na-recognize yung mga gang. Nagsimula yan kay Mrs. Arroyo. 16 years ilang years si Mrs. Arroyo. Sumunod itong si Pinoy. Ganun din, wala silang pakialam. Kaya lumala. Nakakapag-demand pa sila. Ngayon, going back dun sa kaninang tinatanong nila marami ang mga sumusuko ngayon. Okay? Kung susuriin natin yung Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act law, merong provision doon sa mga drug users, yung mga abusers. Only once pwede kang i-rehab. Okay? But how about yung mga recidivists? Yung mga habitual offenders.
Mas marami
Okay? Ang sinasabi ng batas doon, dapat ipapasok ka na sa kulungan. Ngayon, bumalik tayo dun sa sistema ng drug rehab. This is a reality. Yung mga drug rehabilitation centers natin, konti lang. Maganda pa nga yung nasa Davao. Pero hindi na-realize ng mga taga-dangerous drug boards na kinakailangan na gumamit ng ibang facilities. Remember, ang problema natin ngayon, yung problema ng drug addiction, malala. Pero, temporary lang yan. Later, mariresolve ng pamahalaan natin yan. Anong kailangan nating facilities? Saan tayo kukuha ng budget? Hindi budget ang pag-uusapan natin dito kung magpapatayo ka ng napakalaking building or isang lugar na magtatayo ka ng building para dumudaling yung mga nagsisisuko na yan. Simple lang.
Sa gitna ng dagat.
And I'm sure this will reach the President. Sinabi ko nga, of course, yung Duterte Think Tank Working Group, gumagawa na ng communications. Of course, this is being chaired by no less than the niece of the President. Gumawa kami ng communications, pinirmahan na niya makarating doon, ipagagamit yung mga kampo ng sundalo. Nakatiwangwang lang yan eh. Hindi mo kinakailangan dito na maraming mga psychologists. Sa umaga pa lang, gisingin mo ng alas 4, patulugin mo ng maayos sa gabi. 4 o'clock, i-rebeli mo. Pag hindi pinagpawisan yan, baka pakinabangan pa natin ang iba dito. Dahil siguro sa loob lang ng 2 buwan, lalaki katawan yan. Di ba? Pag lumaki ang katawan yan, at naibigan nila yung sistema ng military training doon sa loob ng kampo, baka magamit pa ng ating Estado.
Ayun.
Ganun lang. Pero wala akong nakikitang ganung sistema ang ginagawa ng ating kapulisan ngayon. Dapat makarating sa kanila yan. It's about time to think kung saan tayo kukuha ng resources. Self-sufficient dapat ang kailangan dito. We have these facilities right now.
FYI lang po, mula po dun sa loob, sabi po ng mga doktor doon, napakarami hong kulang na gamot na kung saan ay kinamamatay at pinagkakasakit ng mga prisoners and guards. Opo. Meron po ba kayong plano din ukol ho doon sa kakulangan nila sa mga gamot at facilities para po sila ay magamot din sa loob?
Actually, kasama yan sa magiging programa dapat ng ating
Holistic approach.
Opo.
Holistic approach nga, tawag yan. Ang pamahalaang Duterte, nakikita natin napaka-bagsik, matapang, pero may puso din yan. Kasi tao din naman yung mga nakakulong doon. Remember, dinala natin sila doon para magreforma. Pero hindi nangangahulugan, patapon na yan. Kasi pakiramdam nila sa sarili nila, valueless eh. Yan nakakapag-isip na, neglected na sila. Tapos darating pa doon yung mga drug convicts. Palalalain ang situation, tuturuan magbenta.
Opo.
Diba? Diyan saan ka nakakita yung mga nag-uutos magbenta nandun sa loob? Using telephone gadgets. And I'm not in favor of using telephone jammers here. Ang kailangan po natin itong telephone locator. Malaki yung pagkakaiba ang jammer sa telephone locator. Ako, tinitiyak ko meron tayong magagamit. Tinitiyak ko meron tayong magagamit. Hindi natin kinakailangan bumili.
Thank you very much.
Roland?
Sa akin lang po, Colonel. Yung maganda yung sinabi ni Pangulo maraming natuwa ko sa quote-unquote na inuli ko kayo, hindi ko kayo pinapatay. Dinalaw ko kayo rito, nagluluto pa rin kayo dahil nakapagtayo ng Commission on Human Rights. Tapos, hanggang sa kayo sa brigada na yun, magandang panahon yun eh. Isang buong kumisita dyan, siguro 10 years ago o 15 years ago na yun. Kumisita ko dyan, may brigada ng Ipunding, Kosto, General. So, iwalay talaga na pagka pinatamas mo yung isang grupo na yun, sila lang muna. Tama po yung nababagit yan, magandang plano na yan eh. So, kung sama-sama naman talaga to, may iwasan din yung gulo at saka impunan eh. Yun yung nakikita namin ng problema din yan, kaya hindi magkaigi. Tapos sir, yung po kagaya po na sablayan din doon. Marami po ako nakapanayan doon na anong tawag doon yung nakalaya na doon sa bukiran ng sablayan penal colony. Nakakausap ko po yung mga ilang buwan na lamang, tsaka pa lang sila nilalagay doon sa tagapagtanim ng alat, ng gulay, bahay o tagapag-alaga ng kambing. May tagapag-alaga pa nga sa sabungin manok nandun sa gaya. So itong mga bagay na to, yung sinasabi mo na mapapakinabangan, ito malaking pakinabang pa rin na dapat lumpa. Hindi lang kayo.
Alam naman natin na kapag nabilang lupa, kasama doon yung civil interdiction. Nababawasan yung karapatan ng tao. Pero hindi ko mo binilang lupa, talagang itatapon ka. Merong programa ang ating gobyerno dito. Kaya nga yung isa sa mga major system nila dito yung reformation, yung rehabilitation. Maraming programa ang ating Bureau of Corrections, yung correctional pillar pagdating dito. Yung livelihood, of course may mga problema pa tayo dito sa LTO. Sino sa inyo ang mga walang plaka pa?
Ako,
Okay.
yung isa.
Ako may nakikita akong may dudulot na kabutihan ng Bureau of Corrections pagdating sa ganyan. Kasi walang pakinabang yung ginagawang hulnahan dito sa Comelec. Kunin mo yan. Gamitin mo yung mga preso. Kagaya ng ginagawa doon sa Amerika. It's just a matter or an issue of security here.
Opo, tama.
Sistema lang. Magiging productive pa sila.
Yes. Ay,
Walang nakakaisip ng ganyan.
Walang dating dyan.
Kayo lang po.
Mas
Wala
malaki
pang bidding.
Yan ang general. Yan ang general. Okay. Edwin, tol.
Yung Rod, may issue, may pananagutan bang masasabi yung former Justice Secretary na was Senator dahil sa paglagahanap ng sindikato sa doon?
Yes.
Ito, diretsa akong sasabihin ito. Under the system, there are only 7 penal facilities and penal parks. Okay? Hindi kasama dito ang National Bureau of Investigation.
Bakit bigla niya nun?
Magandang tanong yan, Kuyang Eric. Bakit mo dinadala ang isang drug convict hiwalay sa 7 facilities na ito? Okay? Sa isang banda, bawal din na magbababa ka from maximum to medium. May dahilan yan. Just imagine, drug convicts ka, bababa ka from maximum to medium. Pero itong sa katayuan ni Senator De Lima, kinuha niya sa loob, dinala niya sa NBI.
Grabe.
Bakit? Yan ang matinding doon. Anong problema? Magkano dahilan doon? Diba?
Tanong yan.
Malaking pananagutan niya yun. Ilalabas mo? Bakit? May kautusan ba ang husgado?
Good point.
impeachable offense.
Hindi mo yan pwedeng ilabas. Doon lang yan pwedeng gumalaw sa 7 colonies. Kung marunong lang yung abogado, masusundot nila anong authority niya ilipat pababa. Hindi yun nakita.
Colonel, hindi kaya napag-utusan lang yan? Mula sa taas?
Ano ibig sabihin si Achoa?
Malinaw yan, Kuyang Ado. Unang-una, then Secretary De Lima, alter ego ng presidente yan. Ang dapat managot dito, yung dating Pangulo din. May pananagutan siya rito.
Hindi, tsaka taong bayan na huwag nang mag-elect ng drug addict as president.
Any other question? Ano siya? Utalakay.
Naisip ko lang, Colonel. Total, nakipag-usap tayo sa China sa West Philippine Sea issue. Ano kaya kung bulungan naman ni Pangulong Digong yung ating ambassador dito, yung Chinese ambassador dito? Pare, ayusin natin yung plano ng droga. Total, mga droga rin. Doon naman nagagalit sa inyo. Lahat naman nagluluto ng mga droga dito.
Patras mo na.
Mga Chinese. Di ba? Hindi ba pwede pag-usapan yan? Hindi mo.
Well, lakay, diplomatically napapag-usapan niya. Kagaya nga ng sinabi kanina ni...
Sa bulungan nila.
Nag-uusap yan. Sa level nila, mapapagkaisahan nila yan. Ganon din naman tayo yung mga yung mga OCG natin dito, yung organized crime group na tumatakbo ng China. Hindi naman yan tinotolerate ng pamahalaan natin eh. Basta sumunod lang sa proseso, kagaya ni Mary Jane Veloso, na-convict siya. Okay? Ano ang tungkulin ng pamahalaan doon? Tingnan kung ibinibigay yung tamang karapatang pantao. Okay? Okay, death convict na nga siya. Dapat makatao ba yung pag-execute ng hatol na bitay? dito maraming mga argumento. Lalo na may mga nakausap akong mambabatas. May mga different views kung paano mo bibitayin ng tao. Some say ayaw nila ng binibigay. Some say ayaw nila ng kinukuryente. Kanya-kanyang views yan eh. Pero tama yung sinabi ng Pangulo, retribution.
Yung
Carne Norte.
disposition ni Veloso, nasa kamay lang yan ni President Widodo. Because that's already beyond
Final na eh.
justice.
Final
Tapos
yan
na eh.
Clemency na lang.
Ngayon, marami sa diplomatic levels na magagawa dyan. Ang very ordinary dyan yung exchange of prisoners. Exchange of prisoner between prisoner and asset. Marami pang pwedeng gawin yan. Kaya lang, wala talaga sa agenda ni Aquino yan. Dahil masyado silang engaged sa pagpapalawak ng droga kaysa sa pag-stop ng drug addiction.
Joy, last question. Si Roland, saka si Joy.
Ano lang sa akin, kanina sa gusto ko tanong kay Secretary sa iyo, klarifikasyon lang, gano'ng katotoo na patay na si Manny Villar?
Hindi, buhay na buhay.
At sinasabi
Hindi, buhay na buhay. Kausama ko lang the other week.
Hindi pinatay.
Confirm yun. Buhay.
Okay. Kasi marami lang kumakalat na istorya.
Hindi, maling istorya, Roland. I'm very sure of that.
Kasi
Buhay.
lumalag na lang daw itong lumalakad. Kaya hindi nagsasalita simula pa nung last
Actually, kasama nga ni Presidente Duterte several times. Okay, Joy.
The same question lang for clarification. Actually, sinabi ko kay Roland, kasama lang ni President Duterte last time.
Ako mismo, nakasama ako. Nakasama ko, kaya I'm very sure of that. Buhay na buhay. Okay? Any other question? Bill? Wala na?
Apo. Siguro si Doktora, baka may formulation kan, mas mabilis gumaling itong mga adik.
Hindi, alam mo yung kay Doktora, kailangan natin yun.
Oo.
Pero kailangan talaga niya, direct connect.
Direct connect,
Kasi kung
oo.
hindi, sayang ang effort. Kasi kahit paliwanag siya dito ng the whole day, walang papasok sa ating utak yan. Okay, with that, I would like to thank our guest, General Ron Bonifacio. And I hope na matanggap mo na yung post na dapat inano pa. God willing. Thank you so much. At siya nga, si General De La Rosa, any Friday, he will be here. Okay? Kasi lalong-lalo na ngayon, masyadong delikado ang buhay nila. Ay nilang ibanggit ko sa text message ng information na he will be here. But for sure, sabi niya, he will be at the Rembrandt Balitaan. Okay?
Surprise guest.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mga big time ko kanina. Edwin,